So when he was informed around 4 a.m., he turned out all of his men. They at the crossroads here. There was supposedly a blacksmith shop.
Yeah.
From that point, his commanding officers were sent posted in different places. The 31st Virginia was posted on the hill to the right above their encampment. This 9th Battalion, Hansborough's battalion, was posted at the summit, which is here, and then Hansborough sent pickets to the turnpike below and out to Varner's farm.
Okay.
Varner's farm is out here. In this 1941 photo, you see his house here and his barn here. The old cemetery is still out there right here.
Okay.
Okay. The Federals, most of the Federals with Milroy left the turnpike at the sharp bend, took an old trail out and hit a road out here.
Yeah.
And came up. Hamilton of the 32nd described it as the lower edge of a mountain field.
Okay.
Okay. From that mountain field, the column, the single column, which it would have had to have been for, coming up a trail, was broken into regiments. The three that were there.
Okay.
The 13th Indiana, the 25th Ohio, and the 32nd Ohio. And they were coming. They were in a column coming up this open field, what's now an open sod, and were fired upon as they reached the brow, as they got close to the woods that covered the brow of the mountain.
Okay.
Which would have been this area. At that, when they were shot into, then they obliqued right and formed a line of battle, which was probably 2 or 4 files deep. So, and charged up over the brow of the mount, and that's when they met. They were fired into again by the 9th and the 31st. The Hansborough describes the 31st to the 9th as being intermingled, fighting by their own hook.
Okay.
Which, in other words, they were firing as fast as yes. Yeah, they were pushed back into this group of woods, which surrounds the flat top mountain.
Yeah.
It's flat right here. At that point, the Johnson pulled in 2 companies of 12th Georgia off the turnpike, and 3 more companies of 12th Georgia that were posted over here in the earthworks.
Okay.
Okay. So now he has about 500 men contending 750 to 850.
So they had a much superior force as far as numbers did, didn't they?
Yeah, especially early on, because initially it was 100 against the 750 to 850. And I really can't get a hard number there.
Okay.
It changes with every account. But so the fighting for this timber was the desperate part of the battle. And at times the Federals pushed them all the way back to the cabin sites along here.
And these cabins where they had wintered, right?
This is where they were wintering. They'd only been there since November 22nd. This was December 13th.
Yeah, so they hadn't been there too long, but they'd built them.
Some of those cabins were built earlier in the fall, and maybe as far as back in the middle of the summer. This Allegheny Pass was recognized as the strong position along the Stanton-Parkersburg Turnpike. When they were at Bartow, behind Travelers Repose, they required more forces, and they didn't think it was reasonable to be able to. They didn't think they could hold that position with the few people that they had left. After Jackson pulled troops from this area over into the valley. So the sad part about this battle is Virginia at that time was recognizing they could not supply enough troops in western Virginia to with the depots at Millborough and Stanton.
Yeah.
So they were giving up part of their state at this moment. In other words, think about it, these western Virginia counties were being given up because they had to.
Right, they couldn't defend them.
They couldn't defend them with supply lines so far. You know, the supply line coming from Millboro to Huntersville to
Yeah.
Valley Mountain, the one from Stanton to Monterey to Allegheny or Bartow, it was just too far. Also, for the Federals in December to attack this Allegheny Pass was of no strategic significance, because they also they couldn't maintain a strong force on top of Allegheny. The Federals couldn't on top of Allegheny, being supplied from Grafton.
Yeah, it was too long.
It was just too far. You know, Beverly was about the optimum that they could occupy with any force. So
So what happened here in the end of this particular battle here?
okay, after on this side, about an hour after this battle started at 7:15,
Yeah.
Moody with the 2nd Virginia in another Indiana regiment came up the Green Bank Road. At this time, they called this part of the Parkersburg Turnpike the Greenbrier Road.
Yeah, but it was
This secondary road right here, and it's in really a state that was very much like it was back then right now. But this road goes off to Greenbank.
Yeah, okay.
This upper road was not there at the time. Okay, anyway, Moody came up the Greenbank Road and attacked the earthworks. Okay, he also was held back by that felled timber. The artillery that was on this side of the turnpike held the Federals in check on that side.
Yeah.
Plus, all of they claimed that all of the earthworks were filled with Confederates. There just wasn't enough space for any more. So this was well defended.
Yeah.
There's also they say that artillery from over here did fire into the Federals over on this side, but most of the battle, the Confederates were in between them.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't use the artillery very well on this group. So after several hours of fighting, probably the Federals were running low on ammunition.
Yeah.
The Confederates effectively shoved them out of this timber and back off the mountain. Moody simply retreated. He couldn't, you know, this was like
He just went back to Greenbank, right?
He went back to Greenbank. They met back up, probably in the Bartow area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And is that the end of the Battle of Camp Allegheny?
That is pretty much the end, except for now the Confederates were going to leave Allegheny prior to being attacked.
Yeah.
So after this, they were readied for days after this, thinking there would be another attack, and they ended up staying 4 more months.
Oh, okay.
So the suffering that went on out there during the winter really was a result of this attack. So Milroy actually, the Federal general, actually accomplished something by forcing them to stay there and defend this pass.
Tied him up.
Tied them up, yes. There was a church right here.
Yeah, I'm wondering where that church is, because I've got a picture of the church up there.
Okay, this was deeded in 1858 by the Yeagers.
Yeah, yeah, they're the old pioneer family up there.
Yes, they owned it. They owned all of this. They bought it from a 300,000 acre grant to a Mr. Kuhn, K-U-H-N, in Swope, S-W-O-P.
And that's right about where that...
Anyway, they had at the time there was a church right here. This is a 1941 photo.